Andrew's a decent side ally. I have to play fetch now so that she stops barking.
So going to the veto ceremony, it's a pretty quiet day. I don't want to reach out to too many people. I kind of want to just let Shelby have all the conversations. I know she's talking to Chris. I know she's talking to Brady. We go into the veto ceremony, and Shelby decides to use the veto on me. And this is literally the greatest feeling in the world. Like, I have no doubt that I was probably going home if the veto was not used. And it's just, I cannot be more happy about what happened and like just not being on the block. 10 out of 10 would do it again.
I'm going into the renomination ceremony and I'm about to get nominated. I know it's coming. And that happens and I sit there and let it sit in for a second. And then 30 seconds later, it's a live eviction. What the
Of course, it's like, house guests, what is happening right now? Like, there's no way that something is happening right now.
So Jonathan goes up, and Julie actually reveals that it's going to be an instant eviction, which I'm just like, oh no. But then thinking about it, it's just kind of like, you know what? I think this is for the best. This is obviously going to be a very tough vote. It's going to be a very emotionally draining vote for me. And I think we just got to get it over with.
I think that it was honestly perfect that we had an instant last night, because I feel like people are not going to remember so much about yesterday as like, oh, Shelby used the veto on Jacob. They're going to be like, oh my God, remember the instant?
What a crazy night. Did not expect it to be an instant eviction.
I was worried about what people would think of me using the veto on Jacob. So I'm really glad that that hasn't really been brought up or discussed with anybody, really, unless I'm like totally oblivious to like everybody talking about it. But as far as I know, it hasn't really been a topic of discussion.
Talked to Shelby a lot throughout the day, and she told me she was leaning towards using the veto and figured she'd use it on Jacob, which is kind of good for me now that I know where she really stands. And it shows that her and Jacob are pretty close, because if they weren't, she wouldn't have used the veto on him. I tried to convince her not to use it, because I would have loved to have blindsided Jacob and kept Joe in the game.
I didn't think Shelby would be like I knew she was close to them, but I didn't think she wanted to like pick somebody and like make it publicly when one of them was going home anyways. That actually works out for me in the end, because that's another pair that people are starting to see.
The instant was wild. It was so unexpected, and I loved the fact that we could like hop around from room to room. I didn't really feel the need to, especially since I got in a room with Andrew. I was like, I see you, boy. I'm going to keep my eye on you because you keep flipping your vote. So I'm going to watch you. So we were having a good time, just like socializing, not really talking game, just kind of doing whatever.
They said pick a room, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the hot tub. I'm like, let's get lit. We're in the hot tub, turn on the water. I just want to have fun with it. And I got into the hot tub and Joe was there.
But this is the first time that we've actually gotten to talk on cam since you told me no. So
about 2 weeks ago. How you doing?
Obviously, when you don't talk for 2 weeks and you get thrown into a 15-minute session where one of the guys is a nominee, that's, well, I just want to ask a couple questions. I pretty much figured Joe was leaving, but I just wanted to, figure out, what he was saying. I mean, it didn't all add up. There was some miscommunication or whatever, lies, whatever you want to call it. Really doesn't affect me at all, so I'm not even going to go into it. But essentially, Joe and I hashed it out for a couple minutes.
Apparently some shit definitely went down in the living room though, but the hot tub was a great time. I loved it.
We get divided into multiple rooms, and I know that this right here is the moment I need to know to try and get as much information as possible. So I go into the living room and I find Chris and Ryan, and I'm like, listen, what's going on? I need you to fill me in on everything. So Chris starts explaining to me all the stuff that Joe had told him, how Joe is the one that said that me and Jonathan wanted Chris out last week. Joe Joe comes in the room, and I'm thinking, all right, let's get the show on the road.
We're just comparing notes, Joe. We're just trying to get to the bottom of like why you're saying I'm throwing you under the bus when I'm just sharing what you told me.
The only thing that I told you was that you preferred me to stay, and you asked me who to go, and I said Jonathan would be someone that I could possibly stay with.
And then you said, that's when you gave me the information. You were like, and by the way, Jacob and Jonathan, the week that you and Taylor were up, Jacob and Jonathan preferred you to go over Taylor.
Why would I say that when I know I'm going up anyway? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why you would say it either, but you said it. Okay, Joe, like seriously.
I don't know what it is about Joe and I in this game, but we just clearly bumped heads, and I didn't like being called a liar. So you want to come for me and you want to claim that what I'm saying, I'm spreading and not being honest? Excuse me? Like, absolutely not.
I was trying to do that room hopping sequester shit, and then I got into the living room where Chris was in there explaining to people like what happened that week, and maybe because I was sick and dying, I didn't expect that drama was happening, but the drama was happening.
I have no reason to sit here and make up that lie.
Other than the fact that you wanted one of me or Jacob to go at the beginning of the week.
I nominated the both of you, so
exactly. Like, that's a perfect reason to lie.
Now that your back's against the wall because this lie that you've said has come out and it makes you look really bad, and people are like, wow, that's really fucked up that you would do that to someone that you would consider a close ally. Now you have to come back and circle back around and make me look like a bad person and make me look like somebody that made up something that I have no need to make up.
I watch a lot of Judge Judy, and I love when she just catches people in lies. When you talk a lot and you talk enough and you're making up lies, you can't keep a straight story. So in essence, that's what he did. He did a lot of deflection. He did a lot of double and triple talking.
You literally even said that Jacob missed. You said that to me on call. You're like, Jacob has people. And I was like, he might. I don't know. You're like,
I'm telling you what you said to me. We're talking about you saying in a call to me that Jacob and Jonathan were targeting me over Taylor.
So you're telling me that you don't think that Jonathan was after you? Is that what you're trying to say? Or Jacob?
No, he was clearly after Taylor, in my opinion, because him and Taylor had beef.
Oh, yeah. No, they have beef. They have beef.
And that's when you came up with the term, Jacob has the mist on them. And I was like, yeah, could possibly.
You said that.
I didn't say that. I don't even use the word mist.
It just came back to rear its ugly head. And unfortunately, his own actions completely got him out of this game. So I love Joe. I always will love Joe. But in this game, he was like a pain in my ass. And I'm just glad that he's gone.
Eventually just kind of got to the point where Joe was denying what Chris was saying, calling him a liar. Chris was denying what Joe was saying, calling him a liar. Felt like Joe was changing the subject. And at that moment, I really feel like it all kind of became clear to me. I don't think Joe intentionally threw me under the bus this week. I think the thing about Joe is I think he just gets into survival mode.
That's literally goal number one, is just survival. I'm just trying to survive. I'm in survival mode. That's all I can do.
And he's thinking that he needs to say whatever he can to try and get him off the block. And if he can get him off the block, he can try and justify it to me as, trying to get us not on the block together, which I understand that. But I feel like what me up and like really frustrated me was that him trying to do that in the process was tearing me down in front of Chris, making me look like I have all these people or that I maybe wanted him out. Like, he did it. He tried to save himself at the cost of making me look bad. And even if that wasn't his intention, all the stuff that he did admit to Chris in the confrontation about me having people under my control or me like being in charge of people, the fact that Joe never told me that was enough for me to justify voting him out. It's obvious that he was keeping stuff from me at the very least, and that's really all I could go off of.
Another reason why I feel like the instant was really good was because Joe didn't really have the opportunity to throw us under the bus even more. Because that was something that I was really worried about doing. Like, oh my God, I'm going to use a veto on Jacob. Joe's going to be so mad. He's probably going to throw out, the Good Bitches Alliance or this Care Bears thing with Ryan. Like, just the dumbest. I hate I don't think I've ever referred to it as the Care Bears in a thing, have I? Or maybe I have. Oh, it's literally the most embarrassing name ever. It's so uncomfortable. Anyways, so I was worried that Joe was going to expose the alliances that I'm in with him and make me look really shady, but he didn't have the opportunity to do that because it was such a quick eviction.
I knew immediately when I saw that it was an instant eviction, I was going to throw a vote just to say it.
I mean, I don't expect your vote to stay, Brady. That's fine.
Yeah, don't expect that.
Everyone thinks I want Joe out. I mean, I do want Joe out. Like, I knew Joe was leaving. I wanted to at least, A, throw a pity vote, because no one deserves to go unanimous. B, that's bullshit. No one wants to see a unanimous vote, so I just threw one for the hell of it, and I don't think anyone thinks it was me.
And they announced that the vote is 6-1, which was a huge shock because I thought it was going to be 7-0. And then I started getting pissed because I was like, well, shit, people are going to pin this on me now.
I had no idea there was gonna be an instant eviction, so that's a good twist. It was cute. It was sprung on us. If I got evicted, I would have cried. I didn't get evicted, so I'm happy.
Joe went last night. It was sad, kind of, because I love Joe as a person, but it was his time to go. 15 minutes, he kind of accepted it at that point that he was going. Everything happens for a reason.
Between Jacob or Joe, I didn't really care who went home. I was closer with Jacob than I was Joe, but they're both on the other side of the house. But it was super telling that Shelby saved Jacob.
Because Joe would have been loyal to me moving forward. And I did not want him to leave, but everyone wanted him out, and he was being pretty messy, so I had no choice but to get rid of him.
In general, I'm really, really, really happy that Joe is out of this game. Not because of anything personal, but just because I want to be able to actually play with Jacob, and I feel like a lot of what he's done so far in the game has been him being too afraid to do things because of how Joe might see it. So I'm really happy that finally Jacob's head is in the game and he's here to play and he's ready to do this shit.
I feel like I have this huge weight lifted off my chest. Going into this game with knowing Sean and Joe, I feel like I was kind of restricted and I didn't really have that much flexibility. It was just kind of like a juggling act of how can I play this game while having two people that I know that are expecting me to work with them. It just was very stressful. And now that both of them are gone, I feel like I can finally play my own game without being automatically associated with people and, really do what I want to do without worrying about the repercussions. I feel like I've been born anew in this game, and I'm ready to play.
I think Jacob's gonna do even better now that Joe's gone. And that's scary. I feel like Jacob's story arc could be narrated by me at this point because I keep talking about him in my confessionals and nothing's gonna happen because he's my ally. You have to go with the evil you know versus the evil you don't know.
Last night, it was announced that we are having a Fast Forward Week. We have HOH, nominations, veto, replacement noms, voting, all in one night.
The 3 between Shelby, Dustin, and Jacob, I see that as a 3, and John could be part of it, but I talked to John, so I wouldn't target him. So I kind of want to split up. I kind of want to get Jacob out or Shelby. But Jacob and Shelby are two people that I would want to go up and out.
I feel like heading into tomorrow, I should be good. Because we did formulate that Outsiders alliance with myself, Mandy, and Andrew, which, in a perfect world, that's my final 3.
I like that our group is called the Outsiders, because I think Andrew's an outsider. I think nobody's aligned with him, and he's just alone in this game, and he's going to coast, because it's going to be my side versus Shelby's side, and we're going to ignore Andrew until the end. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that either he's aligned with me and gets me to final 5, and then we slowly start picking at each other, but we'll see.
I'm smarter than both of them. But I feel like I can win competitions over both of those two, and I would have a better case in the end against either of those two as well.
I hope I don't go home. I don't think I will, just because I feel like Chris and Brady are bigger targets than me.
Last night, after everything went down, there was still a house call going on, and of course people start dwindling. It comes down to the people that it always comes down to: me, Chris, Dustin, and Jacob. And we're talking, and we kind of come to an agreement that for tonight, we're not going to go after each other. And even though Chris can't win HOH, I still feel like it was necessary for all of us to have that conversation, because it's kind of like the people that I feel the closest with are like coming together.
I've had my fear about Chris. I've had my worries about him. I still think he's a threat in this game, but I think that it would be unwise for me to not try and utilize him because I think he would be a strong ally. And I wanted to come to him now. I wanted to try and make a deal with him now, not while he was in power, because I think it would have looked less genuine. If I come to him now, that he's outgoing HOH, there's a double eviction or a fast forward week than tomorrow. If I go to him now while he's not in power and be like, I respect you, I want to look out for you, you will not go up if I win HOH, I think that means a lot.
As the outgoing HOH, I don't have really any control over anything, in the sense that I can't win the power again and be safe, so I kind of am at the mercy of whoever wins HOH. I kind of had a really great conversation last night with Shelby, Jacob, and Dustin.
But I think there's just a lot of people that are kind of coasting a little bit, and like those are the people that I genuinely am worried about in the game.
I mean, if you look at it, the last two people evicted were big targets, so their strategy is working essentially. Yeah. All the lower people, only Pam went, who was a lower target. So the Mandy, the Andrew, even like the Ryan, they're still here, and all they do each week is just promise you, hey, well, hey, I'll vote how you won.
I just want to get to a point where it's like I respect the people that are in the house, and it's like when it's my time to go, like I've played the best that I feel like I can, and I go, like, I'm cool with that. But it's like, if it's me and a bunch of people that I just feel like kind of like made it there, then it's kind of like, is this how we want this game to
end up?
To wrap? Yeah, you know?
We definitely decided that, you know, we kind of all in the same wavelength. We respect each other as players, and we'd really like to see it through this game. Perfect. Right now, I'll say yep. So that I can know that I can get through this live night. So if any of the three of them win power, they're not coming for me either. It's more than likely going to be any combination of Mandy, Andrew, and like maybe Ryan.
As I've been on calls with people like Chris, Brady, Dustin, Jacob, we've kind of been talking about how like the past 3 votes have been huge players going. And if we keep this up, eventually there's going to be enough of the people who are kind of comfortably sitting in the middle of everything, like Andrew, Mandy, Ryan, kind of Jonathan, but not really. Eventually, there's going to be enough of them where they're going to be able to come after the big players and go to the end on their own. I would much rather be at the end with a big player who's been super active and super a part of the season, even though they might beat me, rather than be next to someone that I feel like wasn't really making the same kind of effort that I was. Like, I want to be playing with people who I feel like are playing like me.
We kind of came to the conclusion that, listen, there are a lot of people here that are kind of on the back burner while these big players are taking each other out. And I think there comes a time in the game where us as those players need to really stop what we're doing and shift the focus on these other UTR players, because it comes a point in the game where people like that become almost invincible. No one wants them to go. No one sees them as threats. They want to try and take them to the end. These are the real dangers. These have always been, in my opinion, the most dangerous people in the game. It's why I wanted Pam out week 1. It's why I wanted Mandy out week 2. It's you can't let these players go too long while just kind of going with the flow. You ultimately take the control out of the people that have just kind of been going after each other and killing each other off, and you let them finish up the scraps. And then that's how you get a final 2 of like Mandy and Andrew or Mandy and Ryan. You know, there needs to be a time where we can flip the script and start picking these people off. Like, let's get some pawns off this board. Let's get this house smaller and smaller, baby.
As far as who leaves tonight, there's just been this big rush all of a sudden from Jacob and Shelby and Chris Brown, and I guess I'm kind of included in this, to not let the big players leave anymore. Whatever. If I'm considered a big player and you don't want the big players to leave, awesome. But that goes to my point again of not wanting to be labeled as a big player, so I need to start sucking. I need to start sucking really bad. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll be the first one out of the challenge. I figured out that apparently I might get a disadvantage in this challenge because of Joe, but that's okay because I don't want to win. There's no reason for me to win this challenge. If I'm wrong and I leave in this fast forward, mark me the worst player in BB Basics history, but I'm almost positive that if any person wins HOH tonight, I'm not going up. I hope it's a knockout. I hope what Jacob suggested is right, because if I'm facing Dustin in a knockout, I'm still going to throw it. He can win. I don't want to win HOH. There's no reason. So that's basically my game plan.
This brings me to another thing. My relationship with Ryan.
Shelby, 100%, I feel like, trust me. I made it a point to develop a real genuine bond and connection with her.
Last night, he snapped me a picture of like a screenshot of his confessional title, and it was like Ryan round whatever, or like I love Shelby #Relby. And I was like, why are you doing this? It made me feel really uncomfortable because like Ryan and I really don't talk that much, and maybe he talks to me a lot, but I'm pretty sure that he is like 100% with Brady, and it's making me like kind of sketched out by him that he's like trying hard to get close with me.
I've got a whole bunch of these different side deals, and the thing is, all these people, it blows my mind that they don't talk to each other. They don't talk to each other. And right now I have my hands on so many different cookie jars and no one even really knows about it. I'm sitting in a very good position in this game right now. My outlook on this HOH, I've been throwing everything so far. Do I want to throw it again? Yes, but then at the same time, you never know what could happen with the double. So first of all, I have to see what the competition is. If it's something I feel like I might have a chance to win, will I go for it? Maybe, maybe not. Because I still feel like I'll be safe either way, but I just don't know if I want to show my cards at this point. I feel like I have to wait another week or two before actually deciding on something. But then again, will it be too late? Will I get screwed over and get put up as a replacement and somehow go home, something can go haywire, which is my worst case scenario, which I do not want to happen. I feel like 99% confident that I should be safe tomorrow. There's still like that really, really small percent chance that something could go wrong. But if for some reason I win the HOH, I'd be in a really freaking tough spot. But at the end of the day, where does my loyalty lie? Even though I have all these different alliances, it lies with one person and one person only, and that is me, Ryan, right here. It lies with myself.
If I want one person to leave tonight, Dustin. You have it right there, Dustin. If I want a second person to leave tonight, because I can't get Dustin, Andrew. After that, John. After that, I don't know.
House guests, welcome to your fast forward week where everything's going to be happening tonight, and we're going to be down one more house. Chris, as outgoing HOH, you are ineligible to compete. Welcome to your fast forward head of household competition. Everybody, please grab the shake weight that's in front of you. You'll have to pump it as hard as you can. Okay, just kidding. That's not your competition. Your fast forward competition is Eliminator. There were 2 house guests that received a disadvantage from the previous veto competition. They are Dustin and Michael Brady. You will both be the first 2 people to start. The way that these questions will work is that the answer will be a pre-jury member. That means that the answer will either be Pam, Sean, Taylor, or Joe. Those are your 4 possible answer choices. I will say the question out loud. Whenever you feel like you know the answer, you will type buzz inside the Google chat box. Whenever I see buzz, I will stop reading the question and ask for your answer. You must respond within 5 seconds and you'll say your answer out loud. If you're correct, you stay in the competition and you eliminate your opponent. If you're incorrect, then you yourself are eliminated. If both house guests do not answer, then you're both eliminated unless you're the final 2 competing. The person that survives gets to pick both of the next 2 people to compete. All right, here we go. Question 1. After this pre-jury member was evicted, they said, "It's okay, guys, totally cool." It was Dustin, you rang in.
Mandy? I mean Pam.
We have to accept your first answer. You said Mandy. Dustin, you have been eliminated. Michael Brady, please pick the next 2 house guests to compete.
Jacob and Andrew.
All right, so Jacob and Andrew, you are the next 2 to compete. Question 2. During the Knight's Move competition, This pre-jury member hopped around the board and ultimately was the first person to be eliminated. Andrew?
The answer is Joe.
Andrew, that is incorrect. The correct answer is Sean. Andrew, you may leave the Google Hangout. Jacob, please pick the next two house guests to compete.
I will pick Mandy, and just to return the favor, Brady.
All right, question 3. During this house guest veto ceremony plea, they said, "I hope you use it on me. If not, no." Brady?
Okay.
5 seconds. 3.
Sean.
The correct answer is Joe. Brady, you have been eliminated. Mandy, please pick the next two people to compete.
I'm trying to see who's available. We got Jacob, John, Shelby, and Ryan. I'm gonna go with John and Shelby.
All right. Question 4. This is the only pre-jury member so far to be evicted by a unanimous vote. Shelby, what is your answer?
Oh, Taylor.
Shelby, that is correct. Jonathan, I'm sorry, you have been eliminated. Shelby, please pick the next two house guests to compete.
I'm gonna do Mandy and Ryan.
Question 5. During the Dance Till You're Dead competition, this pre-jury member danced to the final 3 in the competition. Ryan, please answer. I'm sorry?
Taylor.
Ryan, that is correct. Mandy, you have been eliminated. By default, Jacob and Shelby, you are the next two to compete. Question 6. During their time in the game, which pre-jury member did not compete in all HOH competitions that they were eligible to participate in? If no one buzzes in 5 seconds, you will both be eliminated. Jacob? What's your answer?
My answer is Pam.
Jacob, that is incorrect. The correct answer was Sean. Jacob, please leave the Google Hangout. The final round is between Ryan and Shelby. The winner of this will become this Fast Forward head of household. Question 7. During this house guest's eviction ceremony plea, this house guest said, "Hey guys, I think I talked to most of you today." Ryan, please answer.
Pam.
Ryan, that is correct, which means congratulations, Ryan. You are this Fast Forward HOH. Congratulations. You will have about 50
Nice.
your decision.
Nice.
Ryan, since this is a Fast Forward week, there is no key ceremony. Simply face the house guests and say which two house guests are nominated for eviction.
All right, I am gonna nominate Dustin and Jonathan.
All right, so Dustin and Jonathan, you are nominated for eviction. Ryan, as HOH, you can select a number between 1 and 7 first.
All right, we will go with number 5.
Number 5. What's number 5? And it's Michael Brady. Michael Brady, you'll be playing in veto. Okay, Dustin, you pick a number 1 through 7 that is not 5.
3.
Number 3 is Shelby. Shelby, you'll be playing in veto. Jonathan, please pick a number between 1 through 7 that is not 3 or 5.
I'll pick an even number and do 6.
Number 6 is Chris. All right, so the veto players are Ryan, Dustin, Jonathan, Michael Brady, Shelby, and Chris. Everybody else, you'll have a few minutes to yourselves. I will get the Google Hangout to you shortly.
Like going into a Fast Forward, you think it just no big deal. Just like whatever happens. Like you'll be fine. And then you actually start it, and it's like holy shit! Like 15 minutes to talk to people.
I just went through this 24 hours ago.
All right, looks like everybody's here. This competition will be taking place over the board. But welcome to your Fast Forward Power of Veto competition. It is called Master. And this is how you play. Once the competition begins, there will be a thread with all 26 letters of the alphabet in it. You can select 6 unique letters, meaning there can't be any duplicate letters, but 6 unique letters to build as many possible words that you can within the 12-minute time frame. So you will have 12 minutes to compile as many words as you can inside your diary room. Now here's the tricky part. The only words that'll count towards your total score are the unique words. So if people say the same word that you have put inside your diary room, then that will not count towards your total score. Also, because you'll have 6 tiles, obviously the 6-letter word is the most that you can do, and a 2-letter word is the least that you can do. And then as far as the point system goes, if you make a 6-letter word, you'll get 6 points. If you make a 2-letter word, you'll get 2 points. So as long as the word is, that's how many points you'll get for that specific word. And the person with the most total points from their unique words will win this Power of Veto competition. All right, looks like everybody said ready. You should be able to see it in the backyard in 3, 2, 1. Should be there.
I'm glad I showed up sober to the spelling competition. What the hell? Only 2 of my letters showed up, Chris. Or I mean, Keith. Sorry. Name's Nick.
I do.
What the hell?
I'm like, how risky do I want to get with the word choices?
Oh, I never asked. Can we do plurals?
Yeah, plurals are fine.
Okay. Oh, I just gave away one of the letters I used.
I'm like, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
This isn't working for me. Like the board's f***ing up for me. I'm so annoyed.
You knew why we should have gotten some
4
more.
minutes have gone by, 8 minutes remaining.
Jesus. Okay, that's.
I don't have a word yet. Only 2 of my letters come up at a time. I don't know what I'm doing. And my hands are sweaty right now.
Oh, same. This is kind of fun now, though. I'm enjoying myself.
Speak for yourself.
Like, I've got into a rhythm now, I feel.
Oh my god. Keith, one of my letters showed up and then the other 3, it's like an L.
It's like an L?
You can, it's, I don't know how to explain it.
You need it horizontal, Brady. You need it horizontal. 8 minutes down, 4 minutes to go.
I don't know why my thing keeps doing it now, but it just keeps happening.
Oh no, that's just the board. Never mind.
1 minute remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands in the air, hands in the air. Stop competing, stop competing.
Ugh!
Thank you very much.
That was so fun.
It sounds. Shut up, Shelby.
I feel like you say every competition's fun.
It was not fun.
We started September
We
16th.
have the results. Thank you for the patience. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Chris. Chris, unfortunately, 3 of your words were also used by someone else. Tar, rat, and rat.
Oh shit, my bad.
Not including those words. I wonder who it was. Not including those words. Your total score is 36. Chris is in the lead. Next up is Jonathan. Jonathan, you had a total score of 41, but you did have some penalties. Both TAC and ECT are not a word. So these are 6 points counting against your total score, giving you a score of 35. Chris stays in the lead. Next up, Michael Brady. Michael Brady, 3 of your words did not count towards a total. Rat, rat, and tar. Of your words remaining, you had a total score of 15. Chris, you are still in the lead. Next up is Ryan. Ryan, you had a score of 52, and that's it. So you are now in the lead, Ryan, with a score of 52. Next up is Dustin. Dustin, you had a total score of 69, but You had 23 points in penalties. Larges, argles, arls, and feral are all not words. Meaning your score is a 46. Ryan, you are still in the lead. It all comes down to Ryan and Shelby. Shelby.
Again.
Yeah, again.
You had a total score of 78.
Damn.
That's it, which means congratulations, Shelby. You are winner of the Golden Hour.
Damn.
And then I'll bring you all back in. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, so what are you thinking?
If I were to use it, since I'm clearly not opposed to using it in the past,
Yeah.
what do you think you would do?
Honestly, I really don't know because I really wanted John to go home.
Well, I think that can still happen, but I don't think that that's going to happen if the nominations stay the same because people are already talking about voting Dustin out.
So you're saying you want to save Dustin?
Yeah.
A lot of people have been messaging me to put Jacob up.
Why would you do that though if we're aligned with him?
No, trust me, I know. I'm just saying that's what people want.
Yeah. Like, who's saying that?
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah, no, of course. But, like, if we're aligned with him, why would you do that?
And probably Andrew, I guess, would make the most sense.
Yeah, and I feel like people don't see him enough as, like, a threat to even vote for him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, he just messaged me. Do you think she's going to use it? Andrew did. He's probably getting paranoid. Well, Andrew's just being like paranoid, asking me like, do you think Chubb is going to use the veto? Blah blah blah. You still want John out? This and that. So I think he pretty much thinks that he's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how close are
thinking?
you? How close are you to Dustin and to Jacob? Are you guys all three of you like extremely close?
No. Like, I'm close to both of them, like, separately.
Because obviously, like, I'm closest to you out of anybody in this game. That's the one thing that, just from my perspective, would kind of scare me is like you might be closer to them than you are to me. You know what I mean?
No, I feel like the relationships that I have in this game are all very different, and I don't like see like I don't like if you were in danger of going, I would and I won veto, I would use it on you. Like that's just how I play these games. Like if I'm close to someone and I hear that they're probably going and I win veto, I'm using it on them. Like
that makes sense.
And like I think that if the nominations stay the same right now, like Dustin is going to go. So if your target is Jonathan, then you need to put up someone else who is to Jonathan.
No, I agree 100%.
Like how are you leaning right now in terms of your nom? Like honestly.
I mean, I feel like the safe move is to get John out and put Andrew up, but at the same time, I like to make big moves, so I'm contemplating making a big move.
And what's the big move that you're thinking about doing?
What everybody else is telling me to do.
But is that going to benefit you though? Like, is that going to benefit us?
That's the thing that I'm worried about because
like with Joe gone, I feel like you, me, and Jacob like have potential to like really be like together. Like
I know, trust me, I know this.
I just don't know why you would nominate him, because then that's kind of shady, right? Because it's like if we're aligned and you nominate someone that we're aligned with, like how am I supposed to know that you're not going to do the same to me?
No, I get it. I mean,
like I'm just trying to understand it because it's like obviously like I won veto last week and I used it on someone that we're aligned with, and then now if you're just going to nominate him, like it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. It just feels like there's something else going on that clearly I'm not aware of.
The thing that I'm afraid of is if I don't do what everyone else wants to do, then I might get nominated next week because there's pretty much a large majority of people that have said
we're getting down to the numbers now. Like why like stop worrying about what other people want, because it's like they want what's best for them. If a lot of people are like, hey, you should put up Jacob, it's because it's good for their game, not necessarily because it's good for your game. People did the same on my HOH. They were like, nominate Taylor and nominate Sean, and I had a good relationship with both of them, and I did it anyways, and then I like fucked up everything with them because I nominated them.
Why did I have to win? If you were me, who would you put up, being totally honest?
I think that putting up Andrew is the safest move, because I feel like people are not going to vote him out because he's so little of a threat. And I think that people will genuinely understand it, because last night on the house call, people were talking and they were like, yeah, like Andrew is someone that doesn't really talk to anybody. He's not gonna, like, if he were to even get nominated, like, he can't really be mad about it. But like with someone like Jacob has a reason to be mad at you. And especially with the way that the votes have gone so far in this game, like putting him up doesn't guarantee that he's gonna leave. So then you would have him coming after you after the alliance, and he could out that or whatever. Like, we don't know what could happen. I just feel like it's so risky to put up someone that you're aligned with. I just think that like we have a really good opportunity, like right now, the fact that we're the ones with the power.
Yeah.
And like we have the ability to really make sure that we do what's best for us moving forward.
All right, since this is a fast forward, Shelby, there's really no speeches involved. Please face your fellow house guests and announce your decision.
I've decided to use the veto on Dustin.
All right, so Dustin, you have been removed from the block. Ryan, as HOH, it is time to name a replacement.
I really hate making decisions in this game. I feel like this move could get me out next week, or it could be a smart move in the long run, but a lot of people wanted me to make this move, so I'm going to have to put up Jacob. I'm really sorry, man.
All right, so Jacob and Jonathan are the final nominees. You'll have 15 minutes to communicate. Good luck.
It's fucked up.
We're falling our eyes out. God. Chris literally said last night that we were good, right?
He's the person we need. He's the
He
person.
literally said we were good. I'm so mad right now because it's just like...
That was the move that had to be made. Because he had easily potential to win this game.
Jacob hasn't said anything to me, which is actually a little surprising, because like him and I talk about like life and Rick and Morty and stuff, and he says hi to me every day. So like I'm surprised he didn't say anything. We're gonna do our best to protect you, but it's definitely like if Shelby doesn't go home next week, she will gun for you until like she's gone.
This is why I didn't want to win, but I knew if I didn't win, that one of us would go home. I'd rather make a big move now and go home next for all I care.
You made a great, like, yeah, you definitely made a big move.
Yeah, so Dustin just messaged me and said that him and Shelby are voting out John, obviously. So
yeah, and I just talked to Jacob because he's done his rounds. He's trying to get the support, but it's not there. Like,
yeah, it's not gonna happen. So
he's going home. So
yeah, this is the move that had to be made for this group to get farther in the game. Like, he was the huge linchpin that really would have kind of been detrimental to us moving forward for this group before right here.
Jacob just called me.
What happened?
Jill?
He said he has three. He said he has Dustin and Shelby, and that if me and Chris both do it, he'll have the votes.
That's their goal. That's what they're going to do.
I'm not gonna flip to help him out. I'm sorry. I didn't want him to go this week. I didn't. But Shelby picked who she wanted to keep in the game.
Yeah.
Shelby's like, all these people in the middle are gonna take you out. I'm like, who's in the middle? She's insinuating you two, Andrew, John.
I was gonna say
middle of what?
Well, you shouldn't have decided to pick Dustin over John then.
Wait, Ryan, Shelby just told me that you have an alliance with her, Joe, and Jacob.
What?
She just sent me a message. Says, Ryan made an alliance with me, Joe, and Jacob, right?
Yep. Oh, I totally did that.
You did?
Oh, dude, what? You think I really would have? I'm being sarcastic.
Oh. I was like, what the hell, Andrew? He said literally right before tonight, Ryan called me and said, as long as you, me, or Jacob wins HOH, we're good. Is that not true at all? Like, I'm just asking. I don't give a shit.
That's not true. I called Shelby and I said I hope that me and Beer you win HOH, like kissing her ass because I'm trying to color my ass. Did I mention anything about Jacob? No.
That's what she's saying. So she's definitely spreading that to try to get votes to.
That's fine. Let her spread it. That's fine.
Well, Mandy.
It's just us.
Everyone is burying themselves tonight. Do you see what's happening? They are burying. Ryan has made alliances and calls. Shelby, they all have all these alliances that no one knew about, and they're all getting exposed like in the last 2 hours. And we're literally just sitting here like, these people are nuts.
Has certainly fast forward my knowledge of this game.
That's hilarious.
Chris, are you still voting Jacob?
I'm not switching.
I'm
switching, but don't get mad. I wanted Jacob to stay this week until Shelby made it.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, hey.
I don't know why you didn't get dressed up. I don't know why you didn't get dressed up, Jonathan. Now we don't match. It looks awkward. There's no.
I walk out of here. I'm walking out of here barefoot.
Hello, house guests. What an evening we've had. Welcome to the eviction ceremony. It is a fast forward week, and in just a few moments, you will go into the diary room and cast your vote to evict. But before we do that, we will allow each of the final nominees to say their final plea. And Jonathan, you're up first.
I've been on this block 3 times, and this is the first time I get to make my speech first. So I hope you all get to keep me. I feel like we've all had a really turbulent round, past 48 hours, realized some things, woke up and smelled some coffee, and the game has changed, and I think that's more of a reason to keep me here. If not, I will be in the jury, and I'll see y'all in like another 2 months or whatever. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Jacob, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. First off, I'd like to just thank CBS for this amazing opportunity. I personally would like to thank my agent, Keith Guerrero, for helping me get recruited for this wonderful and magic adventure. I'm not going to waste time and tell you guys why you should keep me. I'm certain that most of you have already made your minds up. Instead, I just want to say that, ultimately this is a game for fun. And I hope that as this game finishes off, that you guys, don't make things personal. Don't get nasty when you don't need to, and don't go low when you can go high. So I just want everyone to know that it's no hard feelings. I'm going to Philadelphia in 5 days, so I'm really excited to enjoy my vacation uninterrupted. And if you guys do think that is a subtle ploy to keep me in the game, you are 100% correct. So good luck, everyone. Thanks for letting me last longer than Joe, and see ya when I see ya.
Thank you very much, Jacob. We will now begin with voting. Andrew, you're up first. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I'm voting to evict the person who just tried to get me evicted this round, so I'm sorry, Jacob. Yeah, you can go. So yeah, bye.
Thank you very much. Please send your Google Hangout link to Dustin. That is 1 vote for Jacob. Let's see how Dustin votes. Hello, Dustin. Please cast your vote to evict.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, Jacob.
Thank you very much, Dustin. Please send the Google Hangout link to Chris.
Okay.
I can't even hide my face, y'all. That was tough. Let's see how Chris votes. Hello, Chris.
Hi.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict Jacob.
Thank you very much. Please send the Google Hangout link to Manny.
Will do.
That's 3 votes for Jacob. 1 more and it will be official. He will be going home and I will be going home to host this stuff. Let's see how Mandy votes. Hello, Mandy.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict Jacob.
Thank you very much. Please send the Google Hangout link to Michael Brady. It's official. With 4 votes to evict, Jacob will be leaving the Big Brother Basics house. Let's see how the rest of the house guests vote. We made $5,000 for Dustin, by the way. Hello, Michael Brady. Please cast your vote to evict.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm evicting you, Jacob.
Thank you very much. Please send the Google Hangout link to Shelby.
Thank you.
Hello, Shelby. Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict. Jacob.
Thank you very much. You may return to the next call to join your fellow house guests. Let's deliver the news to the house guests. House guests, the results are in. When I reveal the results, the evicted house guest will have just a few moments to gather his belongings, say their goodbyes, and walk out their front door and join jury as the first jury member of Big Brother Basics Season 3. By a vote of 6-0, Jacob, you have been evicted from Big Brother Basics.
Au revoir, everybody.
And with that, we are down to final 8. Congratulations, everybody. You survived the fast forward week. Good luck and good night.
They got me f***ed up.
Hello, Jacob.
Oh, hello. I didn't know if you wanted
me over here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. You look lovely tonight, by the way.
No, you look absolutely smashing. Got something together within the 1 hour time show within our episode. So thank you
know,
very much.
if I'm good at anything, it's improvisation. So I was ready to make myself look as good as possible, as quickly as possible.
Awesome. You were a good sport on your way out the door. What was the reason for that? Or are you just trying to show that this is just a game? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately it. I know how easy it is to kind of get caught up in these things, and I'm definitely guilty of that as well. And I think it's really important to take the time to take a deep breath and realize that this is just a game, and there's no reason to take things super personally.
Most definitely. Going into this fast forward eviction, did you feel like you were in danger at all, or did you feel like we got this, we're gonna make it through?
I knew I was in danger. I didn't realize that I was in as much danger as I think I was. Going in, there were definitely a few people that I did not want to win. One being Andrew and Mandy, but I thought that Brady was, someone that might have gone after me, but I don't think it would have been in his best interest to gone after me just yet. I don't know, but the wrong person won, and here I am.
Yes, here you are. So let's talk about that house call that went on last night. It contained the Crybabies and Chris, and you all were very open about, hey, we want to target the floaters. Let's get rid of Mandy and Andrew. Do you think that Chris was on board with that? Or how do you feel like that conversation went?
Looking back, probably not. I think Chris ultimately does probably want to get rid of the floaters, but he probably wants to work on our side just a little bit more before he does try and make a move like that. I wish that that the call didn't go the way that it did. I think us three being on call with him and how it transitioned to that probably wasn't the greatest thing. That probably scared him. I wanted to go into it with just talking to him one-on-one, and unfortunately never happened. I don't know if that would have affected anything, but I thought it would have been a lot less intimidating than having three people being like, yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. And when Ryan did win HOH, there was that Care Bears alliance. Were you feeling comfortable that Ryan was HOH, or did you feel like he might target you?
I felt that he definitely would target me. You know, the Care Bears alliance was just such a random thing. And when he made it, it definitely felt like he just kind of did it to maybe try and cover his bases. Once I had heard that, you know, Ryan had told Chris, I think sometime before the eviction last night, that he wanted Joe to go, that kind of told me that Ryan didn't really have any stake in anyone in the Care Bear alliance. So I think at the end of the day, it was just one of those things where if it benefited him, then he would go along with it. But if not, he was ready to turn on us whenever he wanted to.
Let's talk about your closest allies, Shelby and Dustin. It seemed like you three were just inseparable. Tell me a little bit about how those relationships formed and how y'all get so close to be such a lovable Crybabies alliance.
Yeah, God, man, the amount of tears I think in that group chat is shockingly embarrassing. But I love them both very much. I think coming into this game and, you know, getting to play with my really, really good friend Joe, I also needed to make sure that I had other really, really close allies, since everyone was going to assume I was really close with Joe. And Dustin and Shelby were just the two people that I hit it off with the most. I think we just got each other. I think our humor was aligned. And, you know, it just kind of got to the point where I felt like these were the only two people that were being 100% genuine with me all the time.
Now you bring up that you came in with Joe. X Production both came in together and somewhat left together, except you're in two different locations. You're in jury, he's not. Tell me about your relationship with Joe and how that evolved throughout the game.
Well, it was an interesting dynamic because, you know, not only did we come in together as X Production, but we came in together as basically best friends. You know, all someone had to do was just maybe do research for 5 seconds to know that Joe and I were extremely close in real life. So I think that was definitely hard to manage. I wanted to work with Joe and I wanted to get us as far as we could together, but I knew that it was going to only be inevitable before we were heavily targeted and separated. And especially the way the few votes went, I think there was just a huge magnifying glass on us from the very get-go. And it didn't take long before we kind of got cut.
Who are you rooting for to take it all the way?
God. I mean, obviously Dustin and Shelby. Jonathan too. It's funny, like coming into this game, Jonathan was someone that I was really, you know, hesitant to play with, but he became someone that I thought was extremely hilarious and very entertaining and lovable. So I'm rooting for all three of them.
And contrarily, who are you hoping to see next week when they join the jury house?
God, anybody else other than that three. It would be great to see Ryan, but it would be even better to see Chris and Brady. I think those two. I would love to see those two. Just, you know, just to talk, just to hang out here in the jury house with little old me.
Awesome. Before I send you away, any favorite memories that you can think of within your past month in Big Brother Basics?
You know, it was a really fun experience. I'm really glad to have the opportunity to get to play and be a part of this game. Obviously, I wish I could have done better, but, you know, at the end of the day, I think I did whatever I thought was best at the time. And, yeah, thanks again for letting me play.
Do you want to go to QT?
Yes.
Okay.
God, yes.
I will get in the minivan and take you off, and then we'll go to jury house.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks for playing, Jacob. It was such an awesome experience hosting you, and it was awesome watching you play. Congratulations on being in jury, and thank you so much. You'll cast a vote for the winner of season 3.
Thank you very much, Julie.